So overall, you're pretty happy with your serve, but sometimes you feel like you lack power, and when you try to add power, you lose lots of control. Now, don't worry, you're not alone. This is pretty normal, as when most players try to add power to their serve, they're doing it in the wrong way, which can create inconsistency and worse, injury. Now, what would you say if I told you can make a small technical adjustment to your serve to gain that extra power and in turn make your serve more efficient and more consistent? Well, in today's video, that's what I'm going to do. And if you stay around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you a few drills that can get you started. Let's get into it. So first of all, it's important to know where power comes from. And we're going to be talking about the kinetic chain, which you may have heard about before. Now, the kinetic chain is using all of your body parts in a sequence efficiently and making better use of the bigger muscle groups, i.e. your legs and your trunk, is going to be a far more effective and efficient way to generate power than just using your arms. Now, when it comes to serving in particular, it's really important that we've got an efficient kinetic chain. As the ball is fairly still when we make contact with it, we've got to generate all of that power ourselves. When you think of forehands and backhands, it's slightly easier to generate power as the ball is coming towards you at a certain speed, so you can redirect that speed. A nice way of thinking about energy transfer with the kinetic chain is thinking of it as a wave traveling from the ground up through your body, through your racket and into the ball. Now, of course, that all starts with the legs. Oh, hello Ian. You're going to feature in my next YouTube video. So by understanding this, you can see that most of the power starts in your legs, in your bigger muscle groups. And as that wave travels up through your body, through your hips and your trunk, each body part that it travels through can add a bit more power, creating a compound effect, which means when you actually strike the ball, you've made use of all of your body parts in that kinetic chain. So the main part of the serve that we're going to be looking at in today's video is what we call the loading phase. And this is the phase in which you've already thrown the ball up and you've set yourself up with a slight knee bend. Now, some people call this the trophy position. I like calling it the loading phase, as this is where you're loading everything ready to explode up into the ball. Now, let's be clear, when you watch professional tennis players, they are super explosive on their serves. You see them jumping up and into the court. Now, don't worry if you don't do that yourself, because what I'm just about to explain will relate to you whether you're jumping into your serve or even if you keep your feet on the ground. Getting into the right position in your loading phase, though, is vital. Now, some players have a platform stance. This is where your feet stay apart. Other players have a pinpoint stance where your back foot comes up to meet your front foot before you drive up to the ball. But regardless of which one you use, these principles still apply. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to make a video on the pinpoint versus platform stance, as I know this is quite a hot topic. Now, the most efficient way to generate power on your serve is to load most of your weight onto your bat leg. This will allow you to drive your body weight upwards and forwards into the ball. Now, if your bat leg is in the wrong position, this can really inhibit your power potential. A common mistake that I see players make is their bat leg is slightly too far around here, meaning that they're really limited with how much they can load their back hip. You'll notice most professional players with this platform stance will have their back foot toe in line with the arch of their foot. And some players even go slightly further back. This really allows you to open up the hips and get maximum rotation into the court. If you have a pinpoint stance, the same applies. Another common mistake that I see players make is as they bring their back foot up to the front foot, it comes around a little bit too far here. And again, you can see that my hips are locked and I can't get any of that coiling of my upper body. So if you've got a pinpoint stance, it's really, really important that your back foot comes up behind your front foot like so. This allows you that freedom to rotate and generate more power going up into the serve. The second thing you need to make sure happens within your loading phase is that you don't bend your knees too low or you don't hold your knee bend for too long. If you get too low, you actually lose that energy transfer. It's much, much harder to drive up into the serve. The same goes for if you hold your knee bend down for too long all of that energy has been wasted. So it's really important on your serve that you don't knee bend excessively and that you do it over a short amount of time to allow you to pop up and into the serve. So my suggestion is to video a few of your serves, video them from this angle, but also video them from behind as well, and take a look at your loading phase. Check out your back foot position and check out how deep and how long your knee bend is. Once you've done that and you've figured out that potentially you could get more power from loading your back leg and your back hip more effectively, here are 3 drills that can get you started with it. So for the first exercise, you just need a few tennis balls, and I've lined up at the baseline in my normal platform stance position. I've placed 3 tennis balls next to my back foot and slightly behind. And my aim is to bend down, loading my back leg and my back hip. Because the balls are slightly behind me, it's creating that coiling, that slight rotation, which I want on my serve. And my aim is to bend down, pick up a ball, and launch it high into the sky as soon as I've picked it up, like so. So you can see there that I'm really loading my back leg ready to explode up into the court. It's important that when you do those throws, you aim your throws upwards, as it also encourages that shoulder over shoulder rotation that we need on our serve, rather than throwing the ball in a straight line and having too much rotational energy. It's really important for a good serve that we stay sideways on for longer, so throwing upwards can really encourage that. The second drill is for players that have a pinpoint stance that struggle with their back foot position. So I've actually got a young junior player that struggles with this a lot. And what happens is his back foot comes around next to his front foot, meaning that his hips have already squared onto the court. It's really important that we keep the hips sideways on for longer. So what we did is we put a tennis ball on the floor right next to his front foot. And his aim was to make sure that his back foot parks up right behind the front foot without kicking the ball. If he were to do his bad habit of swinging his foot round, the ball would be kicked out of the way. So, looks like this. Now, of course, this could be a bit of a hazard, so a safer way if you're playing on clay is to draw a line and making sure that this foot doesn't come past the line. You can see the footprint in the clay afterwards. Or finally, if you don't want to do that, you can just video yourself from behind and check out the footage afterwards. What you should be able to see on camera is both feet coming up together. You shouldn't see one foot in front of the other like that. Equally, if you've got a platform stance, videoing yourself to see where your back foot is can really, really help you. And if you've got any limitations with that back leg or back hip loading. The final exercise is a really good one in my opinion, but it's quite awkward for players to do on their first few attempts. But once you get used to it, it can really help loading your back leg and transferring that weight onto your front leg. So what you need to do is set up for your serve, but you're just going to set up in a half serve position, so kind of in your loading phase, but you're going to stand on your back leg only. You're going to throw the ball up, and as you strike the ball, you're going to transfer your weight up and land on your front foot. So it'll look a bit like this. And again, starting only on one leg, on your back leg, so you're loading that back hip up and land on the front leg. It feels very, very awkward, but you can see there how it's really helping me to develop that rear leg loading and transferring the weight forwards. I'll show you from a different angle too. And you can see there, it looked a little bit awkward, but actually I started to feel more comfortable after just a few serves. So hopefully from that video, you understand the importance of loading more weight onto your back leg and transferring that weight forwards through your serve. If you're not used to doing this, this might upset your timing initially, but persevere with it, as if you're starting in this way and generating force through your bigger muscle groups, it's going to make your serve power more efficient. And in turn, it can help you with injuries such as golfer's elbow and tennis elbow and other things like that. My number one tip is to go away, film yourself serving first of all, so that you can see what you do, as at the end of the day, you're the only person that can't see your serve. And once you've filmed it and you've seen that potentially you could use more body weight transfer, then use some of those drills that I just showed you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.